Hello everybody, welcome to Womenlines.com show. So today we are going to enhance our financial literacy with somebody who is having 16 years experience in the field. We have Swarna Kalyan from Singapore. She is an independent financial advisor who is working with Philips Capital for last 16 years. She has helped her clients achieving their financial goals through thoughtful planning. She is a passionate advisor of helping individuals understand the financial planning. Financial planning makes thought simple to understand and examples. A strong advocate of financial literacy and its relevance in the current times. So yes, friends, it's such a pleasure to welcome Swarna. Hi, Swarna. How are you doing?
I'm fine. Thank you, Charu, for having me here today.
Such a pleasure to have you and such a pleasure to looking forward to enhance our financial literacy from you. So yes, Swarna, can you highlight what is financial literacy?
Financial literacy is basically knowing what to do with your money. Actually, if you look at it, I'm sure you will agree, we all go through our schooling, right? And we know how to create wealth, but
Correct.
we do not know how to manage it. Okay,
Very
so
true.
financial literacy is basically that skill to know how to manage the money that you already have, where to put it, what do you do, what are the important things. Okay, so basically financial literacy, I would say, has four pillars.
Okay.
Which are financial preservation, wealth preservation. Okay, that means you need to preserve wealth for the unknowns. Like now we are living in a pandemic, right?
Very true.
And a lot of them have lost jobs, and so this is an unknown. None of us could have predicted. So
Very
what
true.
would have helped someone would be if they had an emergency fund, right? So that they can tap into that. So that is financial preservation. Financial preservation is also insurance. That means if something happens to me or the earning member of the family, then the family is protected from the unknown, or they don't have to really scramble to change lifestyle suddenly and things like that. So that is also financial preservation. Then second pillar of financial literacy is the wealth creation. Wealth growth. Yeah, basically growing your wealth.
Okay.
Growing your wealth.
Yeah.
So growing our wealth goes with, like, where do we put this money in? Do I put it into stocks? Do I put it into unit trust? Do I put it into property? Different, each of us have a different risk profile. So understanding where we have to put what time frame, I will explain risk and time in a different thing, but
sure.
So growth comes under there. Then comes the wealth preservation. Okay, I mean, where basically instead of I may be 50 years old, 60 years old, right? And I cannot take the risk of putting into the market, which is so volatile. So what are the instruments that I can put it into? And last, of course, the most important one, I think, is to know who will get what, right? After I have so much a basket, so this basket goes to whom, and how will they use it, and when will they use it? So basically knowing all these stages and how we do time it for ourselves is what financial literacy is about.
Wonderful explanation. I love the last part because I don't think so people are thinking so much about that. Who takes the basket?
I can tell you, I can tell you, women are not thinking about it.
That's the point. Women folk has to get up for this.
Basically, women, I would say, in my personal experience in 16 years, is that women do not take financial literacy seriously. We are, at least in Asia, I see that it may be true with the West also, but I'm saying in Asia, it's very true that basically because of our culture, we tend to depend on our spouse to do most of the planning. Even if you are in the financial industry, I've heard my colleagues, I've heard my friends in the banking industry who say, hey, you know what, I just let my husband decide. I'm not saying it's wrong, but I'm saying that you need to know where it goes,
Very true. The awareness has to be there. The awareness has to be there.
And then there could be someone who's totally not in the financial industry. Let's say they're a scientist or they're a teacher, right? And their knowledge of the financial instruments may not be as good as the husband is. And in the absence of husband, I have clients who struggle to understand what is derivatives. I don't understand derivatives, and all the portfolio my husband has is this, so I don't know what to do with it when he's not in the picture. So these are things that women need to learn.
Very true.
Know it. There's nothing wrong to know something, you know. Knowledge is
Definitely.
always
Empowering.
a,
Definitely. Knowledge is
as I
empowering.
said. Yes.
This answers my second question, like why it is actually needed, and particularly in terms of women folk. You have explained it very nicely. Can you share some more insights about it? Why it is needed?
Why is needed is basically because we are in a very dynamic world. Okay, things are changing every day. What was important 10 years ago and what is important today are different in the financial world. Okay, in 10 years ago, I could go to a bank, walk into a bank and leave my money in an FD, and I can get about 2-3% and I'm happy about it, right?
Relaxed, yeah.
But now you go to the bank, they don't have anything like that. They say, oh, FD rate is 0.25%, right? I mean, I'm talking in Singapore context, but I'm sure world over this is how it is,
Changes are
because
happening. Yep.
banks are not interested in your FDs anymore. They are interested in getting your money invested in somewhere. They have RMs who are there for that, right? So when you are, so our mindset has to switch from the idea that banks are secure your money. No, they don't. They are also in a very dynamic world. They may put your money into instruments that are not that may not suit your risk appetite. So you need to know yourself. When someone talks to you, you need to know what is that they are talking about. What risk are they talking about? So literacy is very, very important.
Wonderful. So what are the challenges you think women folk are facing, that they are not taking that much interest and that knowledge part is missing? So what are the real challenges you are facing when you are dealing with women?
I think women as such, as I told you, it's also a cultural thing that we somehow feel that the man of the house can handle things, you know. So that is one strong thing. But I would say, I won't put everyone in the same basket. I have clients ranging from 60 years old and above to youngsters. So I do see youngsters taking charge of their lives, mainly because their exposure, they are much more independent in what they do. So it is a very different range. But overall, I would say my concerns would be for women in their 40s and 50s who are working or may not be working, and they are housewives or are dependent on spouses. And what is it that they need to know, you know, in terms of where their money is, how the husband is investing, do they understand those instruments? Definitely. You know, and so they need that space is something that everyone has to focus on.
Very true. At least the knowledge has to be there, the awareness has to be there, what's happening actually in the world, because you never know what are the things when life is there, when you have to put your time in understanding those things. So it's better to make yourself aware before. So that's the thing which really Womenlines also want their followers and readers from across the globe to take initiative to make themselves literate, financially literate as much as possible. So can you share some tips? What can be done to enhance it? How women folk can improve upon this literacy?
Okay. I mean, do you? I'm sure you have heard this thing about don't put everything in one basket, right?
Yes.
Have you heard this? Yeah,
definitely.
This is something that is first. I would say that is important to understand that what does this basket actually mean? Yeah, when someone says don't put everything in the same basket, what does this basket mean? You know, so understanding that basket, and each of us, our basket is different. Okay,
very true.
We may be at different stages of life, so that changes. Okay. Second is understanding risk. What is risk? Okay, I always tell everyone, you know, the most costliest commodity in this world is
time.
Time.
Definitely, yes.
Thank you. Yes, time is the most expensive commodity. and understanding that money and time are related, and when you do what is important. Okay, what you do when you're 20 years old is very different from what you do when you're 30 years old and 40 years old, 50 years old, and beyond. So understanding the relationship of money and time is important. And here risk comes in. Okay, how much of risk can I stomach? Like we say, butterflies
Yes.
in the stomach, right?
How many
How
butterflies? Yeah.
many butterflies?
How many can we
Yes.
take in the stomach?
Yes, how many butterflies can I take? Okay, when I put in a money into when I put my money, hard-earned money into something, and it is volatile, it moves up and down. How much can I stomach? You need to understand that. Each of us are different, and generally, what happens is, my friend did this, so I did this. Okay,
Yes,
but
that's a
your
very
friend's
common
appetite.
phenomenon.
Yes, my friend's appetite and my appetite is very different. I'll give you my own personal experience. Okay, I'm
Okay.
in the financial industry. I know everything. So, because of that, my risk appetite is very high. Okay, but my spouse's risk appetite is not so. So when I take decisions, when we take decisions in as a family, I find that I'm always forced to put into some things that are very low risk,
Okay.
mainly because it has to suit both of us. Okay, it is a
Definitely.
common asset, and so it has to suit both of us.
Yes.
And in the absence of, and he asked me the same question. He says, in the absence of you, I don't even know what to do with it if it's in high risk. So it becomes important. We see this everywhere. Okay,
Mhm.
so it's not only men or women, but generally we need to understand what is risk and what is it that I can stomach and where should I put it. So that knowledge is important, and constant reading is important. Look at your
Yes.
newspapers. I'm sure Lifestyle has so many, I mean, in Singapore, Lifestyle on Sundays has so many articles talking about what are the different people's experience, what they did well, what they didn't do well, or what are the current trends and things like that. Or go to websites. Just internet is like our open book now.
Correct. Very
you
true.
know yeah, you can go and see what is happening there. And if you are on platforms like LinkedIn and Facebook, you have a lot of reading material available there,
Wonderful.
that people are sharing their experience and things like that. So there are a lot of platforms for us to learn. I personally, along with a few friends, what we are decided is that, especially in this pandemic, we realized that a lot of our clients are having difficulties managing. And we specifically find that women are behind in this race. So we are looking at gathering some info on how women think when it comes to money, and
Okay.
then we are going to structure workshops, we are going to have forums, we are going
Interesting.
to go and because we are now online, so our reach is not just to one place, but we can go over to
Yeah, it's
any,
virtual anywhere we
yeah,
can go. Definitely.
yeah,
That's the
anywhere,
beauty.
right?
Yeah,
So that is our idea, and I hope that Women's Line can support us in this. Try to see how many women are interested in
definitely.
listening to us or participating in our forums and our workshops, or even reading our literature on our sharings. Because all of us, like I mentioned, my friends, they are bankers, they come from an education field and things like that. So we find that we need to give back to the society, and this is our way of giving back to society by sharing our knowledge on financial literacy with
Wonderful.
our friends. Yeah.
So do watch out, friends. We'll have content from Swarna very soon, which will help you to increase your
Yes, yes,
financial
yes.
literacy. And do read her articles, which are coming soon at Womenlines. You want to share something
Yeah.
about some survey you were mentioning, Swarna?
Well, this survey is basically, as I said, we find that as financial advisors or people in banking or even in the education sector or talking to friends, right? We find that women folk don't take financial planning, especially household financial planning, seriously. Okay. And our typical reply is like, oh, I think this is what has been done. Oh, I don't know where it is there, and things like that. So we came up with a survey to understand where there is the gap,
Gap.
to
Okay.
understand where the gap is, so that we can position our talks, our sharing sessions to address that gap. Education is there. We are talking about educated women here. We are not talking about women in villages, or
Very
it's a
true.
different
Very
thing.
true.
We are talking about educated women who are not addressing their gaps in their own household income, financial planning. So we want to take that space and see how we can help with our sharings.
Wonderful. We will be sharing the link for the
Yeah.
survey. So do check out and
Yes.
do fill the survey, and let's have some conclusions and what's happening and what's missing and what has to be done. So Swarna can come up with some solution then.
Yeah, I mean, as we conclude, all I would say is that let us not assume that education is always all that we need. We need skills that we need to keep improving ourselves.
Very true.
Life is a journey, and this journey, it's not a destiny. It's a journey, and in this journey, things are changing. Our partners are changing, our environment is changing, everything is changing, so we need to adapt ourselves to change, and money becomes a very important commodity, I mean, for us to make sure that we have it in all these changes. And so therefore financial literacy is an important skill for all of us to learn and not ignore. So that is
Yes.
what I would like to conclude with.
Wonderful.
And thank you so much for giving me this opportunity, and I hope we can take it forward, with the
Definitely.
survey and things like that. Yeah.
Thank you so much, Swarna, for your time and for your valuable sharing with us, and we are looking forward to having content at Womenlines. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Okay, bye.
Bye.